What is up, survivors? We're back with another mod review, and well, we haven't done an eco mod review in a little while, so I figured let's do eco's RP Decor. Now, this adds a lot of stuff, quite a lot of stuff, and we're going to go over majority of it and ins and outs and how it works. But as soon as I can get off the chair, there we go. All right, so this it seems like a hodgepodge mess, but there is a little bit of method to my madness, and in typical format, when we get big mods with a lot of creative stuff like this, we pretty much just kind of go around the room and go through everything. But we're going to start with down here. So with eco, typically you'll have the crafting stations that you craft in your inventory, and that in turn lets you craft all these items that it's included in this mod. Now, this is pretty much a decoration mod, but there is a lot of functionality into it as well. But so first of all, you can craft this community box, which is basically just to do like you can make billboards and guest books and even little outposts, stuff like that. You can put all that up around, but this all gets crafted out of this. But this is specifically for like your community centers or admin centers or something like this. So the community box you can make like a person. The food tray we're going to talk about later. Actually, we're going to talk about the furniture and decor crafting table now. So this one makes all your lights, map tables, and stuff. So what we're going to do is go over everything that you craft in this guy right here. So starting first and foremost, you're going to get a bunch of different flag options, and they all have a bunch of different color options. A huge bunch of color options. And while I'm out here, actually, there's like hanging flags that you can place. I just have them hovering in the air just because it's a little bit easier, and that way the color was showing up a little bit better. But you can kind of free place these of all different kinds of colors that you want as well. And then around here, there's these other awesome flags that have just like almost every creature you could possibly think of sitting around here, but like even color coded, and then even have the animals on them as well. Like this is pretty awesome. Pretty cool. You also get a blank one that you can free paint on. All right, inside here, we're going to kind of start on the side and rope our way all the way around and kind of talk about everything. In the middle, actually, we can start with in the middle real quick. This is all your different chair and couch sofa options. So you have a sofa, you have 3 different types of thrones. One's more of like this crazy, I think it's called a Rockwell throne on this one. Yeah, Rockwell throne. You have the one with the skulls on it, and then you just have a throne. You also have a chair, an old chair, and then even like a bar stool type of stool as well. Never fails. Never fails. It never fails. Anyway, so different things you can put on the walls. So you have these skull torches. There's a couple of other ones that are actually over there, but this is one that you can actually mount on the wall for lighting. There's a balcony option that you can snap on. Now, obviously, you probably want to snap this onto a doorway walking outside that you can walk on it. You have these floating shelves, shutters that you can put on either side of your windows. You have the wall-lit candle for another light source. We have this cool sword and shield. We have this specimen, like trophy case thing, where you can put one of your implants in there and have it on display. You have a captain's wheel. This is like curtains that go over top of the window, obviously. You have these hanging green box plants. And then on the outside, we have an anchor, like a huge anchor that you can mount, and then also a Gigantor fireplace that is a working fireplace. You can throw wood in here, turn it on, and it does actually light up. So pretty awesome looking fireplace. Anyhow, so starting again, we're going to kind of continue our way down here. This is the bathroom decor stuff, and it's specifically for your bathroom stuff. You have this like wall shelf that has like toiletry stuff on it. You have a bathtub that you can actually just hang out in. Yep, you can just hang out in here. You have the own little toilet that you can sit on. Difference with that, this one doesn't give you the XP bonus that the normal toilet does. So if you want the XP bonus, you probably want to have both in. You have this working shower head that you don't need to run irrigation to. You don't need to run irrigation to any of these, by the way. They just work. But you have a shower head too that you don't need to run irrigation to. Beds, you have a double, like a king bed, then you have these small single beds, but then there's a bunk bed addition. Like this over here is actually this bed with a bunk bed thing snapped on top of it so that you can have a bunk bed. And you could also have a coffin. I don't know if you want to sleep in a coffin. I guess it's your business, but yeah, that's definitely a thing. Trophy mounts. This is crazy. These are all trophy mounts. And there's a long list of them, as you can see. A couple that stand out, the angler, because it actually still lights up. That one looks pretty neat to me. The snow owl, the eyes are out. Eyes are kind of lit up as well. I like the shape of the one for the dolphin, kind of curved around like that. Actually, it looks like something you would see at like a fishing store or something. There's a T-Rex skull with a light with a torch in it. That one does light up. and this awesome squid one. And it's like holding a ship and everything. That looks pretty neat. I think that's it, but there's a lot. I mean, obviously there's a whole lot of them going up and down here. Rugs. You have rugs that you can place down. You have blue, green. This looks like an older rug. This is kind of like a Persian print, I guess. I guess it's purple, and then this is kind of like your shag, kind of like your regular rug is. It's just bigger. There's runners associated, like smaller rugs associated with these guys as well. Same colors. Cool thing about these rugs is you can actually raise them up and lower them. Like when I first placed them on these foundations, they were actually like sitting like this, and I thought that was a little weird. But you can just hold in E and raise them up and lower them up to get them exactly level with whatever you're working with, which is pretty cool because I use a lot of different building mods, so it's always nice to be able to adjust this perfectly. Same way with these rugs too. This is a polar bear rug, a saber rug, was this black bear rug, and then a brown bear. But like I said, you can actually raise and lower these guys as well to make them fit exactly how you want to, which is cool because sometimes with these building mods, things like the hover and being able to eliminate that completely is a pretty cool thing. Where do we go from here? I guess we'll go around this way. There's a couple different storage options. You have this like suitcase storage thing that holds 45 slots. A stack. It just looks like luggage basically. Pretty cool though. Two more of these standing torches. One is really big, one's kind of small. This one does put out a decent amount of light though. And then you have this kitchen cabinet that probably should have went over somewhere else, but you make it on the bench we're talking about. So figured we would lump that in here. Cruising around behind the table first, you can make these really big canvases. Like, so you can make that's a canvas with a frame on top of it. So basically you can make the frame or the canvas or make them separately and place them over top of each other to make these really big paintings. And we also have one, like an extra large one right here, which is pretty wild. It's a pretty big painting. I thought that was pretty impressive. So you can basically have bigger pictures, which I really like. I think that's really neat. And then you could even just like kind of stack the regular ones on the wall and then put this one over top of like 4 of them, maybe like a couple, like 4 different photos inside of a big frame like that. It'd look kind of cool. Tables. All right, so we got this table here. We got a round table. We got this big long oval table, and then we have these map tables. These two tables are pretty neat because you can actually change them to have like a metal accents on them instead. It's pretty cool. Depending on what you're going for, you can make that work. This map table is supposed to represent the center map. Like if you kind of look at it, like I'm standing on the redwoods, basically there's the island's volcano, and it looks like the center map. And there's one for Scorched Earth, there's one for the island, and there's one for Ragnarok. I think it's Ragnarok. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's 4 maps. There's 4 maps total. 4 map tables total. No, so like most of the newer maps aren't on here. At least not yet anyway. On the tables, a lot of just the decor stuff you can kind of throw around on the table. There's some picture frames of like deers and butterflies, and there's a squid. A couple little books, candles that provide light. The lamp that actually provides light. Cool little camera. You have a message in a bottle. I believe you can actually put stuff in this one. Yeah, so you can actually store stuff in it. You have a ship in a bottle over here, which is pretty neat. Let me get rid of my HUD so you can see. You got a ship in a bottle, then you have this open book, and then one of the smaller candles as opposed to the big candle. You have 2 different globes. One's more of like a newer look, and one has a little bit of an antique aged look, which is pretty cool. Ripping around, we have an end table over here. We have a bird in a cage that you don't need to feed, just kind of hops around and does its thing. The huge bonfire. You can kind of use this as like a cooking thing to cook meat and stuff with. It's just a lot bigger. It's like a campfire on steroids, basically. So definitely useful, more so early on. But this in and of itself is pretty awesome, right? Like I think most of our problems, at least mine is usually when we run building structure mods, it gives us the cool structures, but we lack the diversity to decorate the interior. And this in and of itself makes it amazing. We're running it on our community server right now. It's been pretty amazing to see what people have been able to pull off. Yeah, typical eco fashion. Knocked out of the park. Anyway, so that is pretty much everything that gets put together on this furniture and decor crafting table. Couple things to note. There's more bed options. Like there's more bed colors. There's a bunch of different colors for these guys. Definitely remember that the rugs lower, and you can raise and lower them. And also that none of the things that are lighting up require a fuel source to run. They just run. So things to note, kind of take away, but a whole lot of stuff to play with in there. The food tray is a little bit different. So there's some stuff in here I did not put out because it would take me quite a long time. But so you have consumables that you can actually make and eat. You can actually make these and eat them, right? So you can make berry pie. If you want some berry pie, you can do that. Dodo pot pie, you can do that. You can have all those things and eat it. But then there's also decorative ones. If you're just trying to decorate the table to make it look a certain way, you can actually put certain dishes out here. And then there's actually like bottles and food and trays and some hanging pans and stuff like that you can actually have hanging around. Holiday treats, I mean, all sorts of different stuff that actually just sits out that you can place out to make it just look cool, basically. So you can do that, but everything else in here is definitely more functional. The stuff in the storage and structure section is specifically what we're going to be looking at over here, and it's pretty cool. So this is basically everything that it's like your kitchen options, right? But it's super useful too. So this isn't just a looks-y thing. This is incredibly functional. So starting this way, we got a pantry that has 120 slot storage. So not a very big thing. It stores 120, so that's good. This ice box extends the spoiling time of items, but you don't need any fuel for it. Now, it's not going to make jerky for you, but if you're just storing, it's a medieval fridge, basically. You just throw stuff in here. That's all you got to do is just toss it in here, and it'll extend the spoil time of it. You have a counter with doors. It's like a 10 slot. You have this huge, like, tall counter. It's kind of like a bar stool thing. Like, if we get around the other side of this, I think it's kind of what it's meant to look like a bar almost. Perfect with the little stools that we saw in there. But you have a 50 slot storage in there. You have this counter. It's like the only difference between this counter and the other one is like this one has the closed doors and this one's open underneath. You have this mixing bowl, which you're going to be using to make some of the stuff that you would use to make some of the dishes out there. But then you can, yeah, I said you can craft them all here as well. The sink. All right, so this is a cool little option, and you can just drink water out of this, right? So and it also kind of like works like a tap, like you can just throw your empty water sources in here. Cool thing about this one is it doesn't necessarily have to be irrigated. And what I'm going to show you right here, I'm going to pick this up and pick this up. So the way that this works is you place the bucket first, and it's going to look like the whole thing, but that's just to give you a representation of where it's at. But if you place the bucket piece first, places the bucket anywhere, and it auto irrigates it. So when I place this on top, it just irrigates. You don't have to run irrigation pipes for this. It's a super easy water source, like right there. This is a bunch of different pieces, but we're going to talk about what it does. So the basic, like well, I guess kind of what I'm looking at right now is all one piece, and this works like a grill. You just throw meat on here and cook it up just like you normally would. This pan here is a dye mixer. You can actually throw all your dyes in here. You don't need a water. You just throw the berries in here, and you can make the dyes. The pot on top is an additional part that works like an indie cooker, basically. So you have all of your different recipes that you can make. And this kind of works like SS or S Plus, where it gives you all the recipes ahead of time so you know what to make, so you don't need to keep track of that. You have this recipe station for making a bunch of other treats that you can concoct as well, of all these different consumables that are in here as well. So there's a whole lot of extra consumables between this mixing bowl, this recipe station, and then these consumables that are in here. It's pretty crazy. So you have a whole lot more consumables to mess around with just out of that alone. But the idea that this is a grill, a cooker, a dye maker, and yeah, all of this, like right here, what's in frame right now is basically our indie cooker, our indie grill, and to make dyes with. Perfect, right? And then immediate water source right here if we want it. So it makes the kitchen thing a little bit smaller, but it also makes it look cooler, in my opinion. I think it looks definitely a lot better and functional. You know, so it's not just, you know, even if you're not necessarily in there for the looks, from a functionality standpoint, that part is pretty awesome as well. But that is the majority of what we're looking at. There's not a whole lot else. Like I said, the community pieces come out of that community box, but that's pretty much it. This is a big one. There's a lot of little stuff everywhere. But I like that because it kind of, you end up with much cooler looking bases and much cooler. And this is definitely more for like a PvP, or I'm sorry, a PvE, and even like an RP sort of style server that you might be playing. But I think it kind of works anywhere. I think some of this stuff would just be functional. Like I said, the kitchen stuff and the lights without needing fuel for them, and you know, things like that I think would be useful regardless of what server you're playing on. Kind of. Critiques? I don't have any. It's an eco mod. We don't have critiques for those. Knocks it out of the park every time. Beautiful mod. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. I think it's sculpted really well. Everything looks pretty awesome. It'd be cool to see an update on the maps. Maybe we get new ones. That's about it. Other than that, it looks amazing. I love it. Pretty cool. That's it, guys. That's Eco's RP Decor. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We'll have a link to the mod in the description of the video so you guys can check that out. And I'll see you on the next one.